going deep. The Cubs and...
Ask a boxing fan to identify the best lightweight fighter in the world today, and most would answer Stevie Johnston. He stands just a shade over 5 feet 4 and has relied on his boxing skills to pile up win after win. His record is 30-1, and he's consistently outboxed many of the division's big punchers. Today he meets another in a title defense against Jose Luis Castillo of Mexico. Also, time permitting, a preview of tonight's welterweight battle between champion Oscar De La Hoya and unbeaten Sugar Shane Mosley.
Welcome to Southern California. Beautiful mid-June day. Temperature about 80 degrees. Bright sunshine. Thousands heading for the beach. Others to a parking lot. That's right, a parking lot outside the Bicycle Club Casino in the town of Bell Gardens, California, for the WBC World Lightweight Championship fight, brought to you by Miller High Life, featuring Stevie Johnston with a record of 30-1 against Jose Luis Castillo of Mexico. Hello again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels, and welcome to Bell Gardens for what we think will be a very interesting fight, a good confrontation, and one that is marked by contrasting styles and a lot of contrast between these two fighters, each of whom turned pro in the early 90s. But Stevie Johnston will be fighting his 11th World Championship fight, and Jose Luis Castillo is fighting his first. Just one of the contrasts we'll have today. Also up the road tonight, as every boxing fan knows, we have Oscar De La Hoya taking on Sugar Shane Mosley, as I bring in ABC's boxing maven, Alex Swallow. And Alex, 15 minutes from here, two superstars fight tonight. Today we see Stevie Johnston, not necessarily of that ilk, but in his own way, he's established himself as one of the top fighters in the world.
And very quietly, Al, Steve is now recognized as one of the best in the business. But he is such a low-key, humble, unpretentious young man that for a lot of people, he's the best fighter they've never heard of. A native of Denver, Stevie had an outstanding amateur career. His only professional loss in his 4th title defense, a loss he avenged in winning back his title last year. A very solid, well-rounded professional fighter, mentally tough, no obvious weaknesses. Jose Luis Castillo fights out of the border town of Mexicali, Mexico. He is a stablemate of the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez, has an impressive record of 40-4 with 37 KOs, but none of these wins were against world-class fighters. Al, he is taking a huge step up today.
Tremendous, and he'll be the title holder as we take a look at the tail of the tape. If he can win this fight, Stevie Johnston is 27, Castillo is 26. Johnston is always at a height disadvantage, 3 inches today. Each weighed in yesterday at 135, and Castillo with a 2.5-inch reach advantage.
And Al, in terms of who has the edge in analyzing this fight, Stevie Johnston has a clear edge in speed. On power, we cop out a little bit. We call it even. Stevie's one drawback is the lack of a big power punch. Jose has that impressive KO record, 37 knockouts and 40 wins, but the quality of the opposition was way below Steve Johnston. Stevie's a better defensive fighter. As for the intangibles, Stevie wins there because of his edge and experience of world title fights that Al talked about earlier. But there's one other factor which is a very tangible one. Steve Johnston cuts easier than any world champion fighter I can remember. And Al, that could totally change the complexion of this fight.
And nobody knows that better than his opponent, Jose Luis Castillo. Spanish commentary for this fight can be heard using the SAP feature on your TV where available.
The WBC World Lightweight Championship presented by Miller High Life. This ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by Miller High Life. Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil specially formulated for higher mileage engines. Pep Boys, cars like us, people love us. And Gatorade Thirst Quencher, when the moment comes, will you have what it takes to finish? Gatorade, is it in you?
Folks, you have the opportunity to vote online for the winner of each round in this fight. The results will be announced on air, so log on to abcsports.com and you can vote. The veteran California referee Chuck Hassett will be the third man in the ring today here in Bell Gardens. And let's take a look at the rules for this fight. 12-round fight, 10-point must-scoring system, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round in this fight. And, of course, the referee or the doctor can stop the fight. So here we go from Southern California on a glorious day outside in a parking lot in Bell Gardens. Stevie Johnston in the blue trunks and Jose Luis Castillo in the gold trunks.
And right away you see the fact, Al, that Steve Johnston is a southpaw. Kind of looks a little bit, not quite the skill level, but looks like, and it says he has patted himself after one of your favorite fighters, Sweet Pea Whitaker, Pernell Whitaker. Jose Castillo said that he's only fought 4 or 5 southpaws in his career, but did not seem fazed by it at all. Said, no, I'll just throw punches at him. I'm not going to do anything differently against the southpaw. I'll just let my hands go.
For Castillo, this is a rare appearance outside Mexico. He's had only 3 fights. Only 3 of his 44 have been outside Mexico.
Keep working. Let go, Jose.
And one of those was just across the border from his hometown of Mexicali.
It really is amazing, Al, the change in Mexican fighters over the years, Mexican or Mexican-American fighters. I think they've seen and been exposed to so much, especially the American fighters around the world in recent years, that they've gotten much more skilled. It used to be just a test of heart and their chins and their power. And you see the jab there. You never used to see a jab from a fighter from Mexico. It was just wailing away with punches with both hands and no defense. But you can see that Jose Luis Castillo comes in here using a jab, waiting for opportunities. Much, much different.
You begin to think part of that is a function of the television age. So many fights on TV and so many of the Mexican fighters have watched other fighters from around the world through the years.
You did see one kind of vestige of the old Mexican fighters, which is a body punch there, Al. Castillo took a good right hand to the body. Of course, the classic Mexican punch is a digging left hook to the body, dropping down, pulling back, and letting go left to the body. Much harder to do against the southpaw because of the danger of the right hook being right there.
2 minutes into the fight, Stevie Johnston has gone the distance in 16 of his 31 fights. In contrast, it's Castillo's, when you look at his record, he's 40-4, and only 3 of those 44 fights have gone to the final bell.
And interestingly, Al, none of them have gone past 10 rounds. He has not fought past 10 rounds, and it's very possible he'll have to fight into that area today. Stevie picking it up a little bit here in the stop break. The final seconds of round 1. Neither man established any kind of dominance yet. You saw the feet get tangled up, Al, as will happen, as we pointed out repeatedly. The front foot is right on top of each other from both the right hand, when a right-hander and left-hander get in the ring together.
2 guys feeling each other out as we come to the end of round 1. Fight as Miller High Life brings it to you from Southern California outdoors in Bell Gardens. Online poll, 4/5 of you thought that Stevie Johnston won round 1.
I hope we get some more complicated percentages so we can see how quickly you calculate that.
Right. I hope more than 5 people tap in next time.
I didn't think there was much in the first round. I think, if anything, you gave it to Stevie just because he initiated the action more often, but not a lot of meaningful punches landed by either man.
Alex mentioned the fact that Stevie Johnston is prone to cuts. In fact, in his last fight against Julio Alvarez in Denver, his hometown, he suffered a cut in the first round. Strategy went out the window. He had to go after Alvarez and recorded a rare knockout.
The only knockout of his 10 title defenses, Al.
In fact, only 2 of his last 12 fights have gone the distance, or have not gone the distance, including that last one.
There you saw Stevie reaching. There he measured him and caught him with the left, the straight left, but he's reaching a little bit with this guy. He has not found a comfort zone yet. Neither man has, but Stevie Johnston has not really established himself here. There, good right to the face, scoring right to the face of Castillo. But Castillo is moving a little bit himself. He's not, as we talked about before, he's not just standing there waiting to get hit. In and out, using his very slight reach advantage. not really using his height advantage as much, Alex, because you see him bending down almost to Steve's 5'4" height himself.
For Stevie, of course, he's used to having the punch up. I mean, when you look at his record, he has rarely, if ever, had the height advantage.
And we talked a lot about the tendency to cut earlier. We should point out that another good right to the body by Castillo and a punch to the head by Stevie. Good right uppercut inside. Stevie has been vulnerable to that punch. It was a punch that was the decisive punch and the only loss of his career to another Mexican fighter, Cesar Bazan.
And he was able to beat Bazan 2 fights later to reclaim that title. It's the second time Stevie has held this title. First time, 3 successful title defenses. This time, 4 successful title defenses. This will be number 5.
You saw Bazan there in the clinch just to make sure that Stevie wasn't able to do anything either to the body of the head. See him holding that right arm.
Let go.
And in this case, the left arm. When he gets into a clinch, Cesar Bazan knows that the shorter man might be a better in-fighter, so he's making sure nothing happens in those clinches. Good left to the body again by Castillo.
Johnston against Castillo for the WBC Lightweight Championship. End of round 2 at hand.
Hold it, stop.
You want me. You know you want me. I am so soft, so comfy.
I'm comfy too, baby.
No, wait.
Hey, whoa.
You don't need to run. You had a salad last night.
Yeah, a salad.
There's a moment in every race.
In every game.
In every 60 minutes. When you can either quit, fold,
Or say to yourself,
I can do this.
Al Michaels and Alex Wallow in Bell Gardens, California. Round 3 now. Stevie Johnston defending his WBC lightweight title against Castillo. With Castillo from Mexico, you'll note that 2 of the 3 judges, Alex, are from California and only Perez from Mexico.
And Al, I would make a small wager with you, since we're outside a casino, that Mr. Perez had the challenge of winning both those first 2 rounds. I think that they were not decisive enough wins by Stevie. I think the critical thing here are the 2 California judges, Dr. Lee and Dick Young. I said Dr. Lee, it's Dr. Jen Kun. I apologize. Once again, waiting. Stevie is waiting, and Castillo finally got tired of waiting and let go of the punch. You see also Stevie dominating on the inside, Al. That time, Castillo did not time up on the inside, and Stevie landed well. Again, Castillo tying up the right arm, and gets a warning from Chuck Hassett for doing so. Stevie not letting his hands go, as we would expect him to.
Not to this point, 7.5 minutes into this fight. Reminder, tomorrow, top drivers from the Indy Racing League Northern Light Series. Buddy Lazier, Greg Ray, Al Munster Jr. included, compete in the Pikes Peak Indy 200, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, live tomorrow on ABC. Alex, when somebody like a Stevie Johnston is so prone to cutting, and it happens in half his fights, does he go into a fight like this thinking about that?
I really don't believe he does, Al. He has always been able to cope with it. Look at him on the ropes here. This is a real surprise, Al. He's just too good a defensive fighter and too good a boxer. But Stevie Johnston has a tendency, Al, to sometimes fight down to his competition. Now, you see him a little aggravated, fight back, but Castillo comes right back himself. I don't think that he puts himself in a defensive shell because of the cuts. He's confident in Miguel Diaz, one of the better cut men in the world, in his corner. He does not get intimidated by fighting with cuts, so that I don't think that's a factor here. I think the factor may be just lack of focus, which he says he is prone to, and he's just not into the fight yet. Hasn't found a rhythm at all.
By far the best flurry of the fight here in the last 45 seconds. As they picked up the pace, picked up the tempo, the third round coming to an end.
Scoring right hand again to the body by Castillo. See Stevie just missing and pulling with his punches, Al.
Action picking up at the end of round 3.
Dear wife, sorry I can't make lunch today with you and your mother.
The best punch of that round, the left hand by Stevie Johnson right down the pipe, caught Castillo backing out. Might have been enough, Al, in the eyes of the judges to win Stevie that round again. Not dominance by either man.
Fourth round, and you can vote online at abcsports.com, and 2/3 of you think that Johnston won round 3, which was by far the most active of the 3 rounds in this fight to this point. Basking in the sunshine here in Southern California. They paved paradise. They put up a parking lot, and we're in it outside the Bicycle Club Casino in Bell Gardens.
Oh, boy. All the people should take a poll of all the people who got the Joni Mitchell reference.
It is it's a surreal scene.
It really is.
Hey, you're hooking that arm. Don't do it.
Stevie Johnson, though, he is used to fighting everywhere. This guy has fought in Paris, London, Yokohama, Japan, Honolulu. His hometown, of course, is Denver. Started his career there. Last fight was there. And now in a parking lot in Southern California. Whereas the other guy, Castillo, is pretty much a homeboy with 27 of his 44 fights in his hometown of Mexicali.
And he's not that far from his hometown of Mexicali, Alan. If you had to say, even though it's a fight in America, you'd have to say this crowd is definitely behind the man on the left of your screen, Jose Luis Castillo, the challenger. Good right hand to the body by Stevie. Tries to come up with the right hook, does not connect. Castillo connects with a couple of good shots and a third. Jose Luis Castillo staying with Stevie Johnson on the inside, and then Stevie not protecting himself as he backs out, Al. Got clipped as he tried to pull away.
Leaving himself open. Good left by Castillo. Stevie trying to measure him now in the corner.
We should tell you, Al, tell the audience that there is a knot under the right eye of Stevie Johnson.
Just a knot right now, no blood.
And not enough swelling to close the eye yet, Al. It's low enough on his cheek. For those of you who have not seen Stevie Johnson's career, this is not the best of Stevie Johnson you're seeing. If he were in this kind of a situation, again, Castillo ties up that arm. Be interesting to see how long Chuck Hassett lets him go with that tactic. But Stevie Johnson normally would be outboxing Jose Luis Castillo, who quite frankly has never shown. Oh, this might be it for Chuck Hassett.
He didn't let him go very long, Alex.
Yeah, he's taking a point away. You could widen out and just show that Chuck Hassett is taking a point away from Jose Luis Castillo for holding the arm in those clinches. He warned him twice and then took away a point. And that's a tough thing, because if Stevie Johnson wins this round, then it becomes a 2-point round, Al.
Absolutely.
Get loose. Hold it there.
End of the fourth.
Pep Boys knows how to give you a great deal on.
Back in Bell Gardens, California, round 5 now, the WBC Lightweight Championship fight. Brought to you by Miller High Life. Stevie Johnston defending his title. Johnston with a mark of 30-1. And online, 63% of you thought that Johnston won round 4. You would have thought a lot more of you would have thought that way, with Castillo having had a point deducted.
It's possible that 5 point was lost on the voting public, Al. Just to clarify, if they take away the points, Stevie Johnson won the round. It's a 9-9 round in points. If you had Castillo winning the round, I'm sorry, if you had Castillo winning the round, it's 9-9. If you had Stevie Johnson winning the round, it's 10-8. Castillo backing up more than he has in earlier rounds, Al, but Stevie Johnson not able to take advantage of it to land the kind of combinations. And look at the jab get in there from Castillo. And all Stevie has to counter with is just kind of walk in and not get anything effective done on the inside. Not let his hands go, not put the combination together, not counter the punches of Castillo. This is a very subpar performance by a man we were calling one of the best fighters in the world. For those of you who hadn't seen him before, you're wondering what we were talking about. He's going to have to pick it up considerably if he wants to make sure of this win now.
I think the most interesting thing, the most relevant thing that Johnson said this week was, I don't look for a knockout because I might get knocked out.
He's a very honest kid. I mean, it's part of his charm. He's so easy to like as a guy and a fighter. When he lost the one fight in his career, he said he lost it. He said he deserved to lose. He didn't make any excuses. Doesn't say I'm going to go up and beat all the big fighters. Says, look, I'm 5'4". How many weight divisions can I go up? I'm stuck here.
And he's a guy who's also apologized to certain people in the media if the fight wasn't as good as they had anticipated. In fact, there's a very large media contingent here because in a few hours you've got the De La Hoya Mosley fight taking place at the Staples Center in downtown L.A.
Picking it up a little bit here, Al. Just a little bit of an increase in tempo and better accuracy from Stevie. Letting his hands go more and landing more. But some of those... Oh, both men threw right hands and missed. Threw home runs. But look at Stevie back out there. Look at Castillo back him up. That is not typical. Castillo must be stronger than he looks, Al. Or Stevie just came in here totally unfocused. Again, Castillo tying up the right arm. And he's got it clamped pretty good. After referee's taking a point away, Al, he'll let him go a couple more times, but the possibility exists that he'll warn him again and possibly duck again.
End of the fifth.
Stop!
WBC Lightweight Championship at stake in Bell Gardens, California. Stevie Johnson in the blue trunks and Jose Luis Castillo trying to win the title in the gold trunks. Online, 70% of you thought that Castillo had won the fifth round. He was able to, on occasion, get Johnson to back up.
Stevie can't reach him with his jab, and usually, even though he does give up height and reach, Stevie is generally very accurate with that jab. Can't find him with the jab, and so when he goes inside, he's not letting his hands go. Castillo doesn't stay there either. He's throwing isolated punches in there. By the way, Castillo's not exactly dominating either. It's just very, very close rounds, with not a lot of this low blow there by Castillo on the right of your screen, the challenger. Both men leaning on each other here, looking for something on the inside. Castillo again ties up the right arm and hits with his right arm. This is a situation now where I think that Stevie's tried the inside, has not gotten much done inside. I think he might be well advised to try to just box him. He's got the ability, he's got the talent. He just has not found a rhythm.
Castillo is also starting to come into uncharted territory here shortly. We talked about the fact almost all of his fights end in KOs, and rarely has he gone past the sixth round. And we right now are in the sixth of a scheduled 12-rounder. Our ABC stations along the line and alert that at the end of this round we will be taking a local break for you.
And now I think that pretty subtly, I think the point that you just raised may be coming to bear. I think there's a little bit of weariness in Castillo. He's coming, he's trying, he's got a lot of heart, and you see him throwing a lot of punches, but they're a little bit more desperate. He's not as composed as he was earlier, and Stevie's punching and catching him a little bit more often. Right in front of our camera there. You see, Stevie can fight off the ropes, but generally, Stevie Johnson will turn his man. He's staying on the ropes here, and Castillo has scored some punches.
Yep. In Stevie's own corner, Castillo turning it up.
And so as is typical of so many of Stevie Johnson's fights out, this has become a war of attrition. It's a war that he's fought many, many times. It's a war his opponent has not. And let's see as we enter the second half of the fight whether he's able to bring himself to bear more than he has in the first half.
And it's a war he almost always wins, Stevie Johnson. Back after this from our ABC station. Warm, sunny day in Bell Gardens, California. We're outside, temperature about 80. There's a canopy that covers the ring, and there's a nice enough breeze coming through that is not oppressively hot. As this fight now goes to a 7th round, and it was 50-50. Those of you voting online as to who won round 6.
Yeah, I thought that actually was one of the easier rounds to score for Stevie Johnson, Al, based upon the last minute. I didn't think Castillo did enough to be in the round.
No, hold it there. Hey, you can't pull and scared. Let's go.
You heard Chuck Hassett very clearly tell Stevie Johnson that what he was doing in terms of pulling and punching, grabbing and punching was not legit. As we enter the second half of the fight, Al, and there Stevie holds himself. And I think that's a sign of either weariness or maybe caused by lack of preparation coming in, Al, lack of focus in the ring on the day of the fight. You don't know. I can tell you this is a man who has averaged 100 punches a round for a 12-round fight. He's a man who's thrown more than 160 punches in a given round. He is clearly, there he slipped a little bit. What will happen is on the logo of our friends at Miller High Life in the center of the ring, sometimes when the fighters get wet and that logo isn't as porous as the rest of the ring, and there'll be water accumulating, they'll slip in the middle of the ring. It just will be interesting to see if he is able to come up with the kind of energy and skill that has made him such a highly regarded fighter on the world scene now.
Because right now he is on his way to a victory, but another of those lackluster victories. And I say another in the sense that I mentioned before, he sometimes apologizes for performances that don't live up to the expectations of the fans and the media.
You see him grabbing. That is very unusual. He is inside. That's where he wants to be. Why he would want to be grabbing on the inside indicates that he needs to take time off. He either is not in condition now, or he's just not mentally into this fight.
Well, it's one of those things. And then on the other side, Castillo, as we mentioned, so used to ending fights with knockouts. This is only the 10th time in 45 fights that he has seen around 7.
And I think I'm being a little unfair here to Jose Luis Castillo, too. I mean, it's not like it's all Stevie Johnson's down. It may be that Castillo is presenting with some actual problems that he didn't anticipate, that he underestimated him. Stevie swears to us that he's never watched his tapes of his opponent out. In his case, I actually do believe him. He doesn't like to do it. He just says, I'm just going to throw punches when he gets out there. But Castillo is in this fight.
Fighting so often in Mexicali, it was hard to get any of Castillo's tapes to begin with. End of round 7.
Stop.
This one figured to go the distance, has the makings of such a fight. Right now, as we go to the 8th round, scheduled 12, WBC Lightweight Championship. Champion Stevie Johnston on the right. And now on the left, Jose Luis Castillo in his first championship fight.
And Castillo's corner, again, an even round by the online voters out. Castillo's corner told him they liked what he did in that round. They want him to be the man who puts Johnson on his back foot. Stevie is not today, has not tried at all to box from the outside. So sometimes he's on the outside, that's because he chooses to be here. Today, if he's on the outside, it's because Castillo, he's trying a little bit here and then comes in, but it's because Castillo is pushing him backwards and keeping him off balance. There you see Stevie trying to move and boxing outside, but Castillo totally unfazed by the movement, lands punches, and Stevie doesn't land anything in return. And Stevie Johnson not only can take the lead, but he's a tremendous counterpuncher.
Stop. Break. Stop.
Again, Chuck Hassett calls for a break, he gets it, but again, you see Castillo busier there, throwing more punches, landing more punches, nothing coming back from Stevie Johnson. Threw a shot there with his left, but didn't land it.
Castillo appearing the fresher of the two at this particular point.
Stevie Johnson initiating. He's being held on the right, and Stevie's holding with his right. Castillo does appear, Al, as you said, to have found his second win. Stevie generally is very able to go a 12-round distance, but he has, as every fighter would, a couple of periods in a fight of needing to take a rest. Oh, good right hand by Castillo. Right down the pipe. And Stevie Johnson, again, now, it is so unusual to see him clenching on the inside. That's where he has to be, being the shorter of the two men. That's where he wants to be generally in every one of his fights. And for him not to be working when he's in there, for him to be initiating clinches, is evidence of the fact that he just is not into this fight for whatever reason, mentally or physically, or the ability, the awkwardness, whatever it is of Jose Luis Castillo, the challenger. Stevie Johnson is not himself today.
And what you were saying, Alex, is exactly what Miguel Diaz was trying to get him to do in between rounds, listening to Diaz talking to Stevie in the corner just above us.
I mean, both fighters are fight. I'm not trying to imply there's not a lot of punching. I mean, good action here, Al, in the end of round 8. More punches landed there than is typical of this fight so far.
Great action here as the 8th round concludes.
Action from round 8. Watch the right hand of Jose Luis Castillo. Dips down and comes up with the right hand on the inside. That's an area that Stevie Johnson should dominate. Alex Castillo holding his own.
Alex, a tough fight to score. In fact, 54% thought Castillo won round 8. As this one comes down to a climax, we have to keep in mind what happened in the 4th round with the deduction.
And again, you saw Castillo. You're right, Al. That 1-point deduction by the referee, Chuck Hassett, could be critical in a fight as difficult as this one is to score. You saw Castillo's feet, his right foot, again, as he tried to get power, go out from under him in the middle of the ring there. A lot of action at the end of the last round. Both men coming out a little bit tentative here in round 9. Right hand to the body by Steve Johnson. Needs a lot more digs to the body to take away the legs of Jose Luis Castillo. Remember, we're getting into Never Never Land here for Castillo, Al. This is really, to use the term of art, uncharted waters for him.
Absolutely. Again, only 3 of Castillo's 44 fights have gone the distance. It's over a 10-year professional career. Castillo with 40 wins, 37 by knockout, 3 by decision. All 4 of his losses were by knockout.
And we should point out also, Al, that distance we're talking about was 10-round fights, not 12-round fights. So even when he's gone the distance, it hasn't been what's going to be required of him in this fight. But so far, he is holding up. He's staying punch for punch. It's just impossible to know, Al, how the judges are scoring those inside exchanges there. Good 1-2 scoring by Castillo on the left of the screen, the challenger.
The crowd, which is basically pro-Castillo, they're getting into it more and more now, sensing the possibility that their guy is going to win the title.
And there is a genuine concern from Stevie Johnson's corner that their man is not doing enough to make sure that he's defending his title. The one thing we talked about earlier, Al, and who has the edge at the top here is that the one thing that Stevie does not have is big power. He can accumulate punches over the course of a fight and win a war of attrition, but he does not have that big one-punch knockout power. Or even that kind of one combination knockout power.
Right, and especially in round 9 of a 12-rounder.
A lot of heart there by Castillo. You saw Johnson coming after him, and Castillo dug down and fought back and backed him up, and now Castillo is really fighting on hard, Al. You see both men fighting on hard.
And again, a round ends with a great flurry, as did round 8. Round 9 ends in the same fashion.
And you see, you look at the body language of Stevie Johnson. First of all, there is a little bit of blood, a little trickle of blood coming out of his right eye, swelling on his right eye. You see Miguel Diaz there blocking a shot of it, but he is working on the right eye. But the body language of Stevie Johnson is totally dead. He looks like he just has nothing.
And And it's not as if we want to make this out to appear as if Castillo has a terrific chance necessarily to win this fight. We've seen enough fights to know this is one of those weird fights that is so difficult to score. You're liable to get Johnson winning a unanimous decision by plenty on the scorecards of all three judges.
Who's the man? Okay, you there? You need to show me this. You need to step up, start pushing him back and punch him again. Get rough, dude.
You said Miguel Diaz working on the cuts. He's obviously got a nosebleed. He's working on the cut under him. There's Castillo in his corner. Miguel Diaz summed it up there, Al. You're not punching. And this is, it may seem like there's a reasonable amount of punches being thrown here, but this is below, well below the work rate that Stevie Johnson is used to.
Miguel has said that in each of the last 4 rounds.
Again, the slippage there by Castillo with the right hand as he was getting ready to shoot a right hand. His right foot went out from under him. He had to stop. And again, Stevie Johnson being the one here holding with his right hand.
Meanwhile, Castillo's corner, he was being told, he's tired, you can do it, he's got nothing left, breathe deeply.
I think they believed in Castillo's corner from the beginning that their fighter was in a better shape, that he was stronger of the 2 men. And there's nothing here to dissuade them out. Stevie landing occasionally, but I think Al here with a couple of minutes left in the 10th and a couple of rounds after that, Stevie Johnson, to make sure he's got, I mean, I have no idea where the judges' scorecards are. I have no conviction in my own scorecard, but I can tell you that if Stevie Johnson or Jose Luis Castillo wants to be sure of this fight, these rounds are very, very critical.
Very important. Again, 2 of the judges from California, the other from Mexico.
And just the ability to let your hands go is so important. You saw Stevie Johnson throw some punches, but Castillo, instead of letting that take him out, he came right back with a flurry of his own. And is backing Johnson up and making him hold on again. I'm a broken record, Al, but that's been the rhythm of this fight.
Exactly. They keep playing the same melody.
Good left down the pipe by Johnston. Not putting a lot behind it. Castillo tying him up smartly on the inside. Not as flagrantly as he did before. Stevie Johnson holding his hand on the inside there. But Stevie just not punching with any real conviction, except for that one left hand this round. Right hand low by Stevie. Castillo not effective either in this round. So as we come into the final seconds of the round, this round could be up for grabs. And who wins this last 30 seconds could win not only the round, but have an effect on this fight. Stevie Johnson, it doesn't matter. Just judges are human beings. When they see Stevie Johnson on the ropes like he was a few seconds ago, that just makes it feel like Castillo is dominant.
Each of the last 2 rounds ended with good flurries. But not this one. 10th round concludes.
A new generation, a new today.
Bell Gardens, California. We go to the 11th round of a Schedule 12. And again, for Jose Luis Castillo, he has never been to an 11th round.
His corner very smartly told him that he needs these 2 rounds. So the online polling there very, very close. It's been typical of so many of these rounds. Stevie Johnson bouncing on the outside, but look at him pulling. I mean, nothing on his punches at all.
Break clean. Break. Hold it.
Almost pathetic,
Hey, when I tell you break, break.
I mean, just pushing. He's found a way to let Jose Luis Castillo get his confidence, get a little bit of rhythm, get into the fight. And when that happens, Al, anything can happen, including your world title belt. Losing your world title belt.
And again, that is something that has happened only once. Stevie Johnson has lost only 1 fight in his career, and that was his title a couple of years ago, which he then regained 2 fights later.
We should say in that loss, Al, he fought I think a better quality opponent, a Mexican opponent, but a number #1 contender. Stevie slipping in the center of the ring there. Maybe that was the feet getting tangled, I think. Look at both men here giving their all, I think, Al. Stevie Johnson maybe getting the better of this exchange.
He is, letting his hands go.
Stop! Break!
And there, Castillo pinning his man on the ropes and landing, taking 2 punches to the body. Some judges see and score that, Al, some don't. We should point out that in California, they are much more used to body punches because of the great number of Mexican fighters that do fight here. And I think you get a lot more credit in this state and in this town, Al, for body punching and fighting on the inside because the judges are veterans, they're used to seeing it, and they're used to giving credit for it.
Good point.
Now it's Castillo who's on the ropes. He fights off it and he hurts Stevie Johnson. They're saying it's a slip, and I think that
he was on the logo again.
Slipperiness at the middle of the round logo was a factor out, but I think there was a punch involved, and that's a very iffy proposition. No question he slipped a little bit, but there was also a punch.
Right. Some of each. And we will go to the 12th and concluding round. We're back, and there is the incident in which Johnson went down, and it appeared more than anything he slipped because of the wetness on the surface of the logo.
Absolutely right. Chuck Hassett, the referee, was right in calling it a slip.
Okay, stop and break.
Clinching early in this round. This is a round that both corners, and maybe we here, Al, and a lot of the fans, I think the fight could be on the line here in this round. And as Jose Luis Castillo is holding here,
Move back.
it may be that he's trying to save himself for the second half of the round to try to steal the round, Al. Low blow by Stevie Johnson to the body, trying to fight off the ropes. And again, he clinched. This time, Stevie Johnson's the one who's holding it with his right arm. And
okay, stop it.
Castillo's right hand straight low. Both men tired.
Very tired.
Obviously.
Johnson holding on and trying to hold on to his title.
Yeah, it's really a wrestling match here. Very little clean punching. A good left to the body by Stevie Johnson. But, oh, and Stevie, I think, tried to get an elbow through there. Coming up to the halfway point now in the final round. Jose Luis Castillo has never been in an 11th or a 12th round. Fighting his heart out, as is the champion, Stevie Johnson. At stake, a world championship, the WBC version.
Coming up on a minute to go in this forerunner to tonight's fight between De La Hoya and Mosley. And, of course, because of the length of this fight, we will not have that preview that we would have brought you time permitting. Instead, we're going to have a decision, unless there's a knockout in the next 50 seconds, and it's anybody's guess as to who wins this fight.
One word, Al, about that De La Hoya-Mosley fight. If you're not a fight fan, if you are a fight fan, you know that's maybe the fight of the year going in. If you're not a fight fan, this is a pay-per-view event. I don't care. We don't have anything. It's not our company, Al. That's a terrific fight. Final 30 seconds of this fight. It has not been an artistic success, Al. It has not been a great fight in terms of combination punching, but a lot of guts and a lot of heart tested here. And I still, coming to the final seconds of the fight, Al, I cannot tell you who won.
No, a lot of mystery involved here. So they go all the way. Johnston and Castillo. Crowd salutes both fighters. Not a work of art, as Alex said, but a lot of mystery. Who won this fight? And we'll be back after this.
Pep Boy. The WBC World Lightweight Championship presented by Miller High Life. This ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by Miller High Life, Nike, Gatorade Thirst Quencher. When the moment comes, will you have what it takes to finish? Gatorade, is it in you? And Grecian 5, a new generation of hair color for a new generation.
In our online poll, almost two-thirds of you thought that Johnston won round 12. We just asked you to vote by round, so there's no cumulative scoring there. But let's find out who wins this fight as we go to the ring announcer, Jake Gutierrez.
After 12 rounds of exciting action, we go to the scorecards for our decision. Judge James Jenkins scored the bout 116-111 Castillo. Judge Dick Young scored this bout 114-114 a draw. And Judge Geslaso Perez scored the bout 115-113 for the winner by majority decision. And new WBC lightweight champion of the world, Jose Luis Castillo.
So a big upset by majority decision. Ahead on the cards of two judges, a draw on the card of the third. Jose Luis Castillo comes up from Mexicali to win the title. Let's go up to Alex.
First, the ex-champion. Stevie, you were far from your best.
Yeah.
Why?
A little sluggish today. I don't know. I just was off my game today.
Was it bad preparation coming in, or was it just bad focus on the day of the fight?
Bad focus day of the fight.
How much of it was him?
None. I fought his fight. That's all it was.
We'll see you again, Stevie. I'm sorry about your loss at the championship. Let's go over right now and talk to the new champion, Jose Luis Castillo. Jose, felicidades.
Gracias.
Campeón.
Gracias.
Ask Jose quickly. He's the new champion. What was the key to the fight for him winning the title?
Eres el nuevo campeón. ¿Cuál fue tu clave para ganar la pelea?
Pues subimos primero viendo a ver qué traía Steve Johnson los primeros 2-3 rounds y después empezamos a atacarlo poco a poco, aunque fue un poco difícil, pero gracias a Dios salieron bien las cosas.
I went to see what he had the first 2 or 3 rounds, then I started to attack. He was a very difficult fighter to fight, but things went well for me and I won.
Were you surprised at your ability to go into the 12th round and win the 12th round? You won the 12th round on one scorecard, which gave you the title. Were you surprised at your ability to go into the 12th round that you've never been in before?
Que si te sorprendió que al final, en el 12º round, que nunca has estado en un 12º round, tuviste la habilidad para sacar el round y una tarjeta lo ganaste y eso te dio el campeonato.
Sí, claro. En un principio dijimos que íbamos a presionar a Steve Johnson por el estilo que tenía. Y en el 12º round se me dificultó un poquito más, pero gracias a Dios salieron bien las cosas.
Yes, I thought from the beginning to pressure Stevie Johnson because of his style, and the 12th round was difficult, but things worked well for me, and I won.
Congratulations, Jose.
Gracias, un saludo para Julio Chávez, que me está viendo del centro ceremonial también.
Back to Al Michaels.
Thank you, Alex. Jose Luis Castillo, the new WBC World Lightweight Champion. Al Michaels, Alex Swallow, goodbye from Bell Gardens, California. ABC Sports online at abcsports.com. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition.